Hello, today we'll talk about a really fresh player introduced by HiBy. It's R6 3rd generation. It's really fresh and official sales will start on 15th of February. They already have a page for this player on the site. There will be some bonuses for early offers, if I remember right, slight discount and free leather case. But let's talk about what this player offers. In terms of design, it really reminds R6 2020, but a lot of things were changed under the hood. It's really modern player because it's built on Snapdragon 665. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM and it runs open Android 12, so really fresh version. And on top of that, there is a HiBy's proprietary DTA technology and all their additions for the sound changing and so on. DTA it's the technology that allows any application bypass system resampler and output audio directly to the digital to analog converter built in here. And in role of these digital to analog converters here use double ESS 9038Q2M. And another feature that HiBy brought to this player is ability to work in two amplification modes, Class A and Class AB. And as usual, Class A gives you a better sound quality, but of course worse battery life. In Class A you'll get up to 6 hours of work from the balanced out and up to 9 hours or so from single-ended. In Class AB you'll get more battery life, sound will be a bit simpler, but you'll get 9-10 hours from the balanced out and up to 15 in single-ended. But of course it depends on the used version, on the headphones used here. Of course it supports streaming, has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and so on. Output power is 405 milliwatts from balanced output and 125 from single-ended. Not a huge numbers, but pretty decent for the portable audio device. So let's have a closer look. I will add links to the description, everything as usual. Box is small, compact, but I really like this logo that mixes number 3 with R6. Gold embossing on top of blue color looks pretty stylish. And as usual, inside we're getting second internal box. In one half there is a player itself. As usual, main problem is not to tear away this ribbon. And here also everything is pretty expected, so that's silicone case. Here we'll get screen protectors and some kind of manual, and what a surprise, USB cable. So that's it. As you can see, accessory set is not huge, but from another hand it includes everything we need to start using this player. And of course about the design, actually looks like I forgot to mention the price, and it's a good surprise here, because it's cheaper than previous generation R6 2020. It was like $700 or $800 as far as I remember, but this one costs just $500, which is a really good price reduction. And there are rumors that we also will get some R6 Pro 2023, probably it will take place in the higher segment, but anyway, we'll live, we'll see. There are many R6, including RS6, so we'll see what's going on here. So, as you can see, it's a traditional design, really reminds the previous version of R6. I really like that design approach they call masculine design. It exists in black and also gun silver gray versions, so you can choose the one that you like. It has this signature EG sides, but in general it's a relatively compact player by nowadays scale. It's pretty lightweight and slim, so it fits nicely into pocket. So let's peel this front screen protector Actually, looks like I won't peel it. I will just remove this sticker. So okay, I will do it later offline. And here we've got a microSD slot. It has 64 gigabytes of built-in memory, but of course it won't be enough for real audio files, so we can extend it with microSD cards. On top there is a volume knob. Now it's just pure black. Those who didn't like golden color, so getting like strict black. Of course here used good encoder. It rotates with nice clicks and register every click really well. On the side we're getting universal on-off button, and also it used to lock-unlock the screen. So we press it, screen is unlocked. And here is multicolored LED indicator that changes color to indicate battery status or signal resolution. 3 buttons to control playback, really nice tactile feel. Good clicks, and they are easy to spot and distinguish. And on the bottom we've got USB Type-C, and also it's all functions it gives you. It's used for charging, to access internal memory and card, it allows to use this device as digital to analog converter or connect external digital to analog converter. And there are 2 sets of outputs. Line out, both single-ended and balanced. Use these ones to connect some amplifier or active speakers. And headphones out, single-ended and balanced. This one is for headphones. And on the rear side we got this similar glass-like panel. Bigger part of front panel occupied with screen. Do they have screen brightness here? Yep. Let's move it to maximum. So brightness is good, viewing angles are pretty nice, and actually I don't see big difference between 720p and 1080p. Of course 1080p looks a bit crisper, but it's a player with main focus on playing music and showing album covers, and with this thing it deals with ease, in my opinion. So in terms of design, really nice player with good usability. And of course about firmware, I described HiBy's firmware many times, and this time it's even newer version of Android, and frankly speaking I never saw Android 12 before, so it's the first device I see, and some things looks a bit unusual for me, but some things actually remain the same. As usual, you can swipe up to open all applications list, and of course the main application is HiBy Music, but also there is an application for remote control and settings. Also there is unusual for me drawer with settings. You need to pull it lower to see audio settings. There is gain selector and audio settings, and also we can go to settings, and here is audio section here too. So where it is. Audio settings are traditional and familiar. You can select one of many low pass filters built into this digital to analog converter. You can select class A or AB. You can select 3 levels of gain, system-wide audio plugins that can be downloaded from HiBy's website. They change the sound, pretty interesting. And the main feature, in my opinion, still it's MSEB. It's a system-wide sound changer. It reminds equalizer, but instead of just changing frequency bands, you changing things like more bright or more dark sound. You can select note thickness, more crisp or thicker. You can make female vocals emotions change a little bit, detoxed or intoxicating. You can make sibilants crisper or sharper, so it's a really good thing to adjust sound to your likings, changing the more familiar sliders with meaningful values. Also DSD gain compensation, and most important, this MSEB tweaker here works system-wide, so if you'd like to change sound for all applications, HiBy is your best friend. maximum volume, and also you can activate, deactivate MQA decoder and change volume control settings clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever you like, because there is no single consensus on preferences. And as usual, you're getting the most recent version of HiBy Music Professional. Here is playing screen, big album cover, additional menu that allows you to add to playlist, show album info, activate equalizer if you'd like, see properties, and download lyrics and cover from the internet. Also, traditionally you can select between linear and circular progress indicator. I like linear more, it's more traditional. Add to favorites, change play order, and see the current playlist. Also we can pull it, we can minimize it down, and here is media library. First tab is about the files. You can see them by title, by folder, by album, by artist, by genre, by album artist, and also you can access your private cloud. There is OneDrive, DLNA servers, WebDAV, so a lot of possibilities here. In general, scrolling is fast, and it's pretty quickly downloading actually not downloading, displaying album covers, loading them from microSD and displaying here. This one is for playlists, favorites, and custom playlists here, recently played, and also you can create custom playlists here. Also network connection if you'd like to access clouds, and HiBy Link controller and server for remote control of this player or controlling other player from this one. And traditionally good search, really convenient thing to have. And so no, we don't want to minimize it. Also there is a menu, so we can log into some HiBy account, import music by Wi-Fi, scan music, download manager. You can change the skin, so like different colors or even some custom ones, so there is a room to play with interface. Linear equalizer, if you'd like, this one is local for player, and MSEB equalizer, similar to system-wide but working only in the player. Same plugins you can apply just on player's level, sleep timer, and some basic settings that you can adjust, so like skipping folders, language, size. Not many of them, but most useful ones are here. Thanks to good chipset, everything feels pretty snappy and operates really fast. HiBy solidifies their code base, so they're creating really efficient firmwares now. And of course about the sound. So after a few days of really intensive listening with different headphones and earphones, so this model here is just, for example, I used many other in-ear monitors, I came to two conclusions. First one is that actually a pure class A mode doesn't give a big difference, because of course difference is audible, but I probably won't call it even big. And it's not because A mode is bad, but because AB mode is pretty good. And second conclusion, actually HiBy found a really good balance here. If you remember his historical models, first R6 were on the warmer side of things. Then, for example, R6 2020 for me sounded on the analytical and slightly bright side of things, but here they've managed to find the intermediate path and actually create their own sound with tight punchy bass, clean and crisp mids and treble, and actually pretty good dynamics. So main difference actually in the A class mode is that dynamics is pushed a little bit better. But actually to enjoy class A more, you probably just need some more power hungry headphones. In this case actually difference is slightly more noticeable. With power hungry cans actually they drive they show even better dynamics and a bit more energetic sound. With sensitive in-ear monitors difference will be smaller. Anyway, let's talk about the sound step by step. So bass of course goes to maximum depth, it's controlled well, all that technical things. It has a good resolution, nice texturing. You know, modern players are like having that bottom line of quality. 7 or 8 years ago we can have some difference, like bigger bass, accented low frequencies, like warmer lows. Now we have like minimum tolerance limit, that means good resolution, good technicalities and so on. And here everything is present. And actually the main feature of low frequencies is that they slightly boosted in terms of punchiness, but not too much. Actually, you know, also we don't have big coloration in players nowadays, and it's also pretty logical because you're selecting just player with the design you'd like, with features you'd like, and slightly with sound you'd like, and then you just altering the sound, selecting headphones or earphones, because exactly headphones and earphones play the most vital role. So here bass has slightly accented punches, but at the same time weight distribution is also really good. So like universal low frequencies, you know, it's even dull to say sometimes similar words. Universal low frequencies with both good for electronic music or some genres that relies on the synthesized lows, and as well really good in representing natural instruments with a lot of small nuances. They do it effortlessly without exaggerating them in size or doing some sort of other changes. In the pure class A mode you'll get even a bit more punch, but difference won't be huge anyway. So let's go for the examples, and first one it's Metallica's Enter Sandman, and actually here I'm hearing difference between classes A, B and A pretty clear. Still can't call it big, but it's audible. And the bass guitar intro at the beginning, it's really enjoyable, signature riff that everyone knows, and nice punchy drum lines recorded pretty well. Rare case for Metallica actually, like pretty unique that they didn't get drunk and push some buttons on the mixer. Anyway, nice, dynamic, energetic with good emotions and all you can expect here. And second example, also heavy metal band, it's Nightwish, but it's their slow ballad that actually called Slow Love Slow, and it's done in cabaret style. And usually if you want to make cabaret like music, you just getting acoustic bass and playing some slow tunes that build the foundation for the good vocal, and you totally deeping listener to the atmosphere. And here it's present, both they have nice bass line, and that bass sounds really pleasant and really realistic. And also that dual vocal, both male and female, especially in the chorus, that intersect and complement each other, also sounds really great with this player. Mid frequencies have good resolution, they have really good detalization, but they have less focus on the micro contrast comparing to R6 2020, and in my opinion it's more universal sound. It's less nitpicking for the quality of record, and in general sounds more natural and slightly more balanced. Of course, if you use to that representation that slices music into tiny pieces, of course it can be a step backward for you, but I prefer more organic representation. For me it's a step forward. Really good representation of emotions, nice spacious stage, not super huge but pretty big both in width and in depth, and actually depth is even slightly better here represented than width, but still three-dimensional positioning is pretty nice. But of course it mainly depends on your headphones, and basically it's not trying to change something, a bit boosting emotions but not too much, and almost no boost in dynamics here on the mid frequencies. Instrument sounds pretty realistic with different nuances as well as vocals, and that gives a really good, pleasant listening experience, at least to my taste. And let's go for examples. First one is like I wanted to add it here. It's Creedence Clearwater Revival, Fortunate Son. Rumors are that in all battle helicopters all over the world, it's a built-in tune. You just need to flip one switch and this tune starts playing. Of course it's a joke, but anyway. Nice, good bass line, guitars, signature vocals. All that things doesn't require like a lot of resolution or some super technical player, but they require proper emotions representation and they require good behavior for the bit outdated records, and this player delivers it well. Song sounds really emotional and enjoyable. And second example, it's David Gilmour. So I always was a fan of Gilmour over the Waters, but nowadays it's even more noticeable that my choice was right. Really like his album from 2015, Rattle That Lock. It's good guitar work, nice vocal, you know, it's more of like pop rock song, but done with a great style, typical for the Gilmour, with good catchy tunes and so on, and also it requires like nice resolution to show that tiny things that this track is filled with, and this player definitely delivers it to you. And the treble, it's linear without attempts to boost it or to soften it, so it's not as forward as it was in R6 2020, it's more balanced, but with a good resolution, normal layering, not super but normal, and overall nice extension and overtone saturation, both basic and like more rich overtone saturation, typical for the high-end players. Really nice stage treble with airness and sense of all the tiny nuances and details. And actually just examples, because treble just doing its job, representing air and stuff. So first one is Europe Carry. Of course everyone knows Final Countdown, but Europe has a lot of really good other songs, and this ballad is like typical for the 80s, with that sound of synthesizers going to treble area to add more spaciousness and more wow effect, and this player deals with it pretty well. And really complex track in terms of treble representation, and even this player lacks a little bit of refinement because it's more suiting top of the line dubs. It's John Zorn, A Shot in the Dark. Like sometimes it's hard to describe John Zorn's track. It starts like a total mess of sounds, but then appears great tune, but then some random sounds and everything changes really fast, like a real crime scene with shooting in the dark, and all that saxophone parts and a lot of sound effects that track is filled with requires a great treble. This player doesn't represent it fully, but neither other players in this segment do that, and actually it still sounds pretty enjoyable. In terms of pairing, from one hand 400 milliwatts doesn't sound like super powerful model, but at the same time in class A mode it deals with not all, with many full-size headphones pretty well. With sensitive in-ear monitor, zero issues, background hum is on a really low level, so no problems here, especially if you use lower gains. And on the high gain it can drive even planars that are not super power hungry. Of course, models with like sensitivity below 100 decibels or impedance like 600 ohms or so is not a perfect match here, but still it sounds pretty enjoyable with big set of fairly reasonable headphones too. So I didn't suffer lacking of power, but I don't have a lot of really power hungry headphones to test it fully, but enough for my models, and even Mesa Empyrean sounds pretty nice and realistic in the pure class A mode. And of course about compressions, just few most recent models, plus of course worth mentioning R6 2020. So here you'll get more organic, more natural sound with slightly less focus on the micro contrast, which is me sounds more natural, more musical and more enjoyable, and I think a lot of people will prefer new tuning more. And someone will ask about Tempotech V6 because of all that hype that it just overperforms all players, but it doesn't. So here you'll get a bit more balanced sound signature with better weight distribution. Of course, difference is not huge, but still it's audible, and this player will give you better results. Shanling M3 Ultra, it was not released not so long ago, but in general it's like Shanling are on their own with more weighty sound, more focus on the weight, and a bit less relaxed in the treble area. So it's just for Shanling fans. And of course, main rival is not HiBy, of course, FiiO M11S. They are close in terms of price, in terms of features and other stuff, and actually they have similar ideas in sound tuning. Both are natural, pretty technical, but with slight focus on dynamics. But here you'll get a bit more boosted emotions, while FiiO will give you a bit more refinement, especially on mid frequencies. So just a bit of difference, but I won't say that one is better than other. Actually, subjectively, I've got my preference, but like it's just subjective, matter of subjective taste. So, HiBy released really great player that has nice value for that price, and I really hope we'll see even more models from them. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.